Hi everyone, it's me, Kat from Kat's Creations, where as promised, I told you today I would teach you how to ship a wreath. And so there's going to be two ways of doing it. One, when you're in the summer and there's no possibility of rain, or if you just want to be on the safe side and overly protect the wreath, there's no harm in just taking that extra level of preventative measure for your wreath, just in case, for whatever reason, the box is damaged, the box is wet, the box gets dropped in the mud, oh, who knows, whatever. So today I'm going to walk you through what you'll need to have on hand, where I get my supplies, how to package it, how to get it all ready for shipping, what I put in the box, and then that's pretty much about it. So, housekeeping rules. If you like this video and maybe you're just getting started and you haven't yet shipped your first wreath, you might want to click the share button and go ahead and share that video to your page, so when you do get your first sale and you're all happy but then you panic because you don't remember what to do, that video will be there as a resource for you. Two, if you want to get notified when we do these impromptu lives where it's not really our scheduled Friday night live at 5, make sure you hit the like and follow button on the Facebook page. That way you're notified when we go live. YouTube subscribers, this is a replay. This is not a live YouTube video. However, you can still go ahead and comment. I go through the video every day and I just make sure that I answer all the questions for any YouTube subscribers. If you'd like to participate in the live, go on over to Facebook. I'm on KatsCreationsNMore on Facebook, and then you can participate in the actual lives. YouTube subscribers, also click the little bell in the upper right hand corner. That allows you to be notified when we upload new videos. So before I get started, do you have anyone there? As I'm emptying my pockets.
Yeah. We have Alma, Linda, Stormy, Mary, Kay, Dolly, Judy, Carla, Debbie, Ashland, Amber, Debbie, Tamala, and more Joanne.
Okay, perfect. So, how many of you guys have actually sold a wreath yet and have already shipped? Just go ahead and, do a little like or let me know, hey, I've shipped wreaths. So this is definitely going to be something new or something in addition as a resource, versus those of you that are just getting started like I was about 3 years ago, and hadn't really thought about shipping. I think we're just so concerned with the creative and getting it out there and getting it marketed. We don't really think about what happens when it actually sells. So things you're going to want to have on hand before you ship. You will want to have packing tape. So there's a whole bunch of different places out there that you can get packing tape. My recommendation is to get the Scotch 3M shipping tape. It's the heavy duty packing tape. And here's the reason why. You'll use less of it. It lasts much longer. It provides a better overall holding power to the tape itself. So there's, what was the other one? It's like a duck tape. It's got the one with the rubber duck on it, yellow duck.
It's either Scotch or 3M.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's another brand that like Walmart carries, Lowe's carries.
Yeah, but it's cheap. It's duck. Yeah.
Right. So I put the link to Amazon where I get these. They come in a 6-pack, and for me that's pretty good. I mean, that'll last me a good maybe 6 months. It just depends on how many wreaths you're selling. So packing tape. It's easier if you have a packing gun, because then that just makes it
tape gun. Yeah.
Right. So it just makes it easier for when you're getting into the groove of things and you know how to package your box, you know how to tape it. It's so much easier than trying to remember where you left off and then try to peel this back off when you need to find your the end of your tape. You will also need a digital scale. Now, keep in mind that with the recent increase in shipping rates, a scale is almost useless if you're shipping items that are greater than like a 16 by 16 by 6 or 16 by 16 by 8 and up. Here's the reason why. Because UPS, FedEx, and USPS determined that items shipped in an overly large box, like a 24 by 24 by 6, which is the largest I ever ship in, should roughly weigh 22 pounds to ship in. So that's why noting how much your wreath weighs isn't necessary anymore, because as long as it's under 22 pounds, it doesn't matter. So, but a digital scale is good in the event that you ship smaller items, because then weight does come into play. Anything less than 12 inches, you need to know the weight. And that plays a big component in how much you pay for your shipping. Did you have a question?
Judy said, cool, I made an army wreath for my son. I need to ship it from Florida to Michigan.
Awesome.
And then Carla said, I haven't shipped any wreath yet, but I'm thinking of doing it. And then Madeline said, just what I needed tonight, just shipped my brother off for deployment.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so prayers for his service.
Another one, Amber said, I currently hand deliver my wreaths. I'm still a small business, so this will be helpful for me when I get orders from afar.
Yes. So, and then this is also helpful. I noticed that even if you're doing local pickup, it's still, I mean, you want to give it to your customer in a box, number one, because they're going to need someplace to store it. Granted, some people just take their wreaths and hang them on the inside of their garage door. They'll never put it in a box because it's just too much room. That's fine and dandy, but most of the time you're going to want to give them the wreath in the box, because you can put an awful lot of resource materials for the customer in that box, meaning your business card, a thank you note, a receipt for the sale should they have to do it. Like if you're doing it for real estate agents and they're doing that as part of the close of escrow, and they need to factor that cost into, you know, whatever, they're going to need a receipt. So those are items you're going to be able to, you want to include in the box. So digital scale, again, I just got mine off of Amazon. I looked for the cheapest. However, this one actually does have a really unique quality besides it being digital, is you can, let me pop this up, you can lift this up. So for those 24 by 24 by 6 inch boxes, you don't want to lay it flat, then press the button and kind of stand back and see if you can kind of read it. You just stand it on its end so you can read it, and then you have 24 by 24 and it's only 6 inches thick. So this is a handy way of being able to read it without struggling to reposition the box. What are you looking at?
Just who makes that one?
Accutech.
Accutech?
Yeah, I'll post the link on that one later for you guys. For me, I'm thinking, and I don't know for sure, I think when a lot of people stick their wreath in the box, they just stick their wreath in the box. That's it. They don't secure it. And you guys know, and I hate to see this because not every delivery driver, we've seen the videos, right? We've seen the YouTube videos. So your bows are all nice, your embellishments are nice, you might have things like seashells attached to your sign. You want to secure the wreath into the bottom of the box so that should it get flipped this way, it's secure in the box to the bottom of the lid, and the weight of this wreath is not sitting, so that when the customer opens the box, they have flat bow, everything is flat, everything is smashed. And some customers, they might try to fluff the bow, and I've seen some great pictures, but you're going to want to make sure that you take the time, refluff your bow in the event that you don't secure it to the bottom of the box. I always do. It's just an extra step I take. Is it an inconvenience for the customer to try to figure out how I get it secured in the box and how they're going to get it out? They actually get what's called a wreath care letter that explains to them how I attached it into the box, how to fluff the ribbon, how to care for the wreath, how to store the wreath, and then if they purchased it off of, say, Etsy or my website, there's a link for them to take the time to go back in if they're happy with the wreath and post a review. Post pictures. I love to see pictures of the wreaths on the front door. Then I can share those on Facebook.
Marilyn said it cost me $65 to ship a wreath from Central Florida to Central Illinois last fall. I about died.
It shouldn't cost you that much.
Yeah.
The only reason that it will cost that much is if you go greater than a 24 by 24 by 6. So does it mean that you can't make larger? Absolutely, you can make larger, but if you're making larger and hoping that your customer is going to pay that elevated shipping rate? Probably not. And I've seen enough as I go through Etsy, and I'll sometimes find pretty wreaths, and I'll go down to their shipping to kind of see, oh, this is $129. What are they charging for shipping? And then you click on the shipping and it'll say like $63. It doesn't matter how nice that wreath is. I have a really hard time with almost anyone paying, you know, almost half of what they paid for the wreath just to get it to their house.
Yeah.
So you always want to make sure. I think the most expensive wreath I've ever shipped, and I'm all the way in Southern California, so if you go almost all the way to the tip of California on the southwest side, maybe all the way to like Boston, Massachusetts, sometimes Chicago, Ohio might be a little higher, $35 is tops. That's the most I've paid to ship a wreath, period. And you guys shouldn't have to pay any more than that either. The only way that you are is because you're going higher than 6 inches or wider or longer than 24.
Candace asked, do you ever ship local orders? I'm not comfortable with people coming to my house, but delivering them has been time consuming too. I was thinking about either charging a delivery fee or having them meet at a location in my area. We do that.
Yeah, both. We've done both. So I have some customers who, you know, due to COVID now, they don't want to meet on a face-to-face basis. They'd rather you know, put it in a box, leave it on their porch, or meet at a location. I always take Steve with me when I go. We'll meet at a Starbucks, or we'll meet someplace that a customer feels comfortable, and then we do the exchange there. So either way works. And yes, I have done this before. You can kind of figure out where geographically you're comfortable with driving for free, like maybe 5 or 10 miles from your house. Maybe anything greater than 10 miles, you can charge a delivery fee for if people want to pay to have it delivered. So that's an option for you.
Yep.
Did you have another question?
That was it.
Okay, so we did the scale, we did the packing tape, packing gun, how to secure the wreath to the bottom of the box. Really simple. I went and bought these today. So you can order them on Amazon, but the ones that Amazon sells, it's really hard to get the little plastic off of the back of the adhesive mounting squares. So you have to kind of pick at it a little bit. These ones from Home Depot run about $15.50 for 100 of these, which allows me to ship 50 wreaths. So it's really cost effective. So they're just the little things that people put on the back of their wreath signs. If you go to Home Depot only, Lowe's carries them, but at like 10 or 15 pack, and it's super expensive, so this is the best deal. So it's commercial electric, 1 inch by 1 inch mounting bases. So if do you want this?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Now you made me lose my train of thought.
Commercial electric mounting bases.
Yeah,
Home Depot.
I know. And still, the thought train left the station. So, darn it. Okay. So anyway, you'll use these, you'll stick these in the bottom of the box. I was trying to think, Home Depot was the best price. Lowe's had them in smaller quantities. Amazon, you can do it, and I think the price is comparable. But I like these. They come in, now I know where it's going, white and black. Where you can find these in Home Depot, anywhere they sell zip ties. So it's usually in the electrical wire section because they need zip ties to hold the wire up. And then you'll find these along with zip ties. If you want to do a 2-for, you can get your zip ties and the adhesive mounting squares.
Interesting. Sabrina said Walmart has them. I've never seen them at Walmart before. So
where are they at in Walmart? Yeah, because I haven't seen them.
I haven't either. I'm
always in for finding a great deal. Okay, other things you will need before you package your wreath, because there's some pre-prep you need to do. Business cards. I always include, and I don't hang them off the wreath or add them to the bag. I actually put these inside the thank you card. I put one for the customer and then one for them, that if, God forbid, they have a friend that loves the wreath, they can go ahead and pass along the business card. I do not put my phone number on it because I'm not comfortable with people I don't know contacting me, but my business email address is here, as well as the link for my Etsy shop and my website. So there's 3 different ways they can reach out and communicate they want a wreath. Business cards are key.
Sabrina replied back, said, I saw them with the zip ties by the crafting stuff. So
I'll have to look.
And then Marianne said, I'm really late to your video. Do you use a particular service to ship your wreaths? Does box size determine cost of shipping? You'll get that.
So yeah, we'll talk about who has the best deal. So you'll need thank you cards. I remember back in the day when Target used to have the little dollar section. I know they still do. If you can get your thank you cards for $1 or a couple bucks, you need a thank you card. I think it looks so much nicer than simply signing your name on the receipt and off it goes. It's just a little extra added touch that says you care just a little bit more. I order them like this, and I think, let's see how many is in here, 120. So there's 6 different thank yous, and they're all kind of like wreath designs. And I like the rustic look, so it's kind of like a cardboard, literally. So they come like this. So, and they're blank on the inside. So usually what I put is, thank you for your order of the Farm Fresh Blueberry Wreath. If it's something on YouTube, I usually will post here, you know, you can find this wreath tutorial on YouTube if you want to see how it was made or show that to your friends. And then you'll put your 2 business cards in here. I usually add a small thank you. And now that I've kind of branched into Chocatoire and now it's starting to enter into the Christmas season, you can take the little chalk rounds and make little ornaments. You can drill holes in them and make cute little ornaments for your customers. You can also get 1 inch by 1 inch adhesive magnets, and then they become a magnet. You can do it one of 2 ways. But I usually put a small little thank you in. I've done coasters for this summer with like summer prints on them. So it's just a nice little thank you for the customer. I love getting free stuff in the mail.
That's a good idea. Candace said, I ordered my thank you cards from Vistaprint with my logo on them.
Yes, you can do that.
Good idea.
This was just cheaper. Because sometimes Vistaprint can get pretty expensive. And yes, they've got a lot of really nice stuff. Okay, so we talked about the gift, the thank you cards, the scale. You'll need pipe cleaners to use the commercial ties to secure your wreath to the box. I try to find a color that is completely opposite of anything that I would have used on the wreath, so a color that stands out. I also print out, if it's Etsy, you're going to print out what's called the order, and it gives you the order and a packing slip. So what it does is the one that has the picture on Etsy is the one that goes with the customer. The other one with no picture is your copy. Why this is key in the box. Should your label suddenly fall off the box, this packing slip has the customer's information on it so that they can get it to the customer. So it's always nice to put a little extra security in the box. I also include the wreath letter. And then on here it explains how the wreath is secured by twist ties, and a lot of times I'll write what color so that they know, oh, it's red. Look for a red twist tie to go ahead and pull that out. It also reminds them to keep the box to store the wreath in, so don't toss the box away, because a lot of customers won't think, oh yeah, I should have saved that box. So the wreath letter basically explains it all for them. I do tell them that if it is greater than 6 inches in height, I have flattened the wreath to a small degree to save the customer that shipping. So it's to go from $35 at the greatest, you know, to get it, and you don't want 6.5 inches or 7 inches, because then that goes double. So it's 65 or more depending upon where you go and how far you have to ship, and postal zones. And then I just got an email today that FedEx is increasing their shipping rates because of COVID as they're rolling into the holiday period, in preparation for the fact more people will be shipping and less people will be visiting and, you know, whatever during the holidays. So those are the things that go in the box. So you have your thank you card written out, you put your business cards in, you tuck your little thank you gift in, your wreath letter goes in the box with the receipt, which also has their address on it should it get separated, and then we're ready to pack. So before we start, Do you guys have any questions about the materials and what you should have handy? Besides shipping boxes, I'll get into the sizes you should keep on hand.
Yeah, no, Marianne said don't know if you cover this, but is Etsy the best way to sell? That's kind of a different topic.
Well, let me answer that really quick because a lot of people are out on Etsy because Etsy charges so much in fees. Here's the thing. Etsy is the shopping mall. You are a vendor who has a store in the mall. Do you have to advertise as much to bring customers in if you have a shop in the mall? Probably not, because the mall's going to do the most of the advertising for you. So Etsy does all the marketing. It allows customers to search for your product by your business name, by your product type. So they take care of all of that stuff. So that's kind of like your rent, your what do you call it, like retail space rent.
Your lease space, yeah.
Right. If you do it on a website, it is so much harder. It's like taking like a small commercial building that you can rent out real inexpensive, but it's not like an outdoor strip mall. It's just a little building. It's going to take you so much longer to market and get customers to know that you're there and bring customers in. So I do it both ways. I have my website, but I started with Etsy. Why? It was easy. They took care of all the stuff for me. They made it super easy for me to go into my shop, list all my pictures. They take care of making sure the customers, they pull the money from the customers and then they deposit it into your bank account. So we don't have to worry about where all the money goes. And they will go to bat for you should the customer say, hey, I got this wreath, it wasn't what I wanted. I've tried to communicate with the customer several times. You have an online log of the conversations between you and your customer, so you have that to your advantage should you have to go to a resolution type of dispute.
Terma said all shipping companies are doing a temporary price increase, it seems, and then states that FedEx is my least favorite shipper. They seem to have terrible customer service, in my opinion. We haven't had any issues with FedEx.
I love FedEx. So I always think, and this was before FedEx was a thing, the USPS, the US Postal Service was my go-to shipping person before January 23rd of this year, when they jumped on board with FedEx and UPS and went dimensional rate shipping, which means based on the size of the box, we automatically assume it should be X amount of weight. Doesn't matter, it's a 1 pound thing sitting in a 24 by 24 inch box. They don't care. You still pay for it as though it's a 22 pound package. Is it right? No, I don't agree with that. But they look at that and say,
it still takes up the same amount.
You're taking up space in the mail truck. You're taking up space in the FedEx truck. So you should have to pay for that. So I use FedEx just because I did the research. For me, and knowing where the majority of my customers are, you can get in touch. If you're a business, reach out to FedEx, reach out to UPS, reach out to USPS as a business. So this is where business license comes into play. And you can ask them specifically, do you have a business rate? So they have the published rate, which is generic for everybody, but a lot of times they have a business rate, which means the more you ship, the less your price is. So you can negotiate. After being in business for 2 years, I went to FedEx and UPS both, and I said, look, here's Etsy's fees. This is what Etsy wants to charge me for the same size box. Here's how many sales I did last year. You know, always we're looking to increase the number of sales this year. Can you beat their price? And everybody loves to negotiate. So thankfully, even though it was just like a couple bucks difference, having FedEx over USPS now is such a breath of fresh air, because we've all heard, you know, what's happening with packages being lost and shipping times taking up to 2 weeks or stuff like that. So for me, driving it right to my FedEx people, I know my FedEx people, I go in there and I talk to them all the time. I think you just have to develop that rapport as a business person to a business person. But shop around to figure out, where do you ship the most? Like, I ship most to the East Coast, so I need something that's going to be like 2,000 miles plus. And you can go to places like, what is it? Pirate Ship, or there's another one, like something station. There's another one, like Ship Station, I think is what it's called. And you pay a fee, which is crazy for me. Why would I want to pay someone when I don't know if I'm going to ship anything? And they promise to give you the lowest rates out of USPS, UPS, and FedEx. So do the math, and then don't be afraid to negotiate your prices, you know? See what happens. Again, we'll have to wait and see what happens next month to see how much of an increase it's going to be. So we'll figure that out as it goes.
And people are going to choose different
They will.
carriers based
Some
upon
people
what they
have,
want.
yeah, some people like UPS and they get a better rate, and it's like, cool. I mean, do what you need to do that's best for your business and you, but don't be afraid to negotiate and get a hold of somebody on the phone to talk to these people and see what you can do.
Yeah, Stormy said USPS has a commercial-based price as well. Sarah Winter said, yeah, she said Ship Station. And then Sarah said 95% of the time FedEx is cheapest for her. Stacey says the customer, she's always had problems with FedEx, so it just depends.
Yeah, it's gonna, you know, everything's gonna be contingent. And the nice thing that I like about with FedEx, and I'm not plugging FedEx, I'm not like Castaway movie or anything like that. FedEx automatically includes $100 insurance with every item that is shipped. And so for me, most of the time, because you can't factor shipping into the price of the item you sold, that pretty much covers replacement costs for the customer should something happen. So I like that I don't have to pay extra to have that service provided for me. So that was just my 2 cents. Okay, ready to ship?
Yep.
Ready to ship? Okay, so shipping box. You can, and we've done this a couple times, when you're measuring your wreath, you're gonna look at your wreath and go, okay, this is a 24-inch wreath. Most of the time, when you look at the diagonal space on a 24-inch box, it's greater than 24 inches. Sometimes it's about 25 to 26. So what I do is I measure it, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty close to, it's actually under 24 inches. Let me try a 22-inch box to see if it fits. And before I tape it, I fold it so that you have the bottom handy. Put your wreath inside and see, does it require a little bit more room, or is this going to be fine? In this case, the 22 by 22 by 6 is fine. So for me, based on what I ship, I have on stock 22 by 22 by 6, 24 by 24 by 6, just in case it goes a little bigger, and then 18 by 18 by 6, and you can even go 18 by 18 by 8 if you want to go taller. That's for like angel tree toppers or the candy cane wreaths, witches hats, things like that. So I order them through Amazon. They come in bulk quantities, meaning the 24s come in quantity of 10. So you're buying 10 at a time. When you're buying the 22-inch ones, they're about 15 at a time, which is my most frequently used box. And then the 18 by 18 by 6 is like 20 or 25 to a bundle. So it just depends on what you're selling. And then I usually wait till I have like 4 or 5 left, and then I place an order for more, because it takes anywhere from like a week to 2 weeks to get those boxes back in. So it gives me some cushion.
Candace has a question. So I don't need to put in the declared value on my shipping order. Whenever I put it in, FedEx charges me a couple more dollars because you don't have a business account. You're just going there and filling out the slip and the declared value.
There shouldn't be any, because I put declared value $85, declared value $100. If you notice, even when I'm pulling out my shipping label, there's no additional increase in what I put as far as the declared value. The only time my shipping rates go up is how far I ship and how large my box is. That's what determines the overall price. But declared value for FedEx, it's never been an issue with going up to $100 because it's automatically included. They just want to see that on there. Should you have an issue where you have to open a claim with FedEx because the package got lost. It's somewhere in their hub somewhere and they can't find it. So that declared value helps because you're gonna print out your receipt from Etsy or PayPal or however you sold it to them to provide them with that as the documentation for the customer. So hopefully, and like Steve says, if you're just getting the general published rates on their website, because you can open up just a regular account, but what you want to do is contact a FedEx business rep and talk to them about getting a business rate, and then you'll save quite a bit of a difference. Okay.
And Ronnie asks, is Amazon cheaper than Uline?
It depends. Because we're Amazon Prime customers, our shipping is free. I don't know what Uline charges for boxes. Here's the thing, because I was going to share this with you. In a pinch, because this always happens, someone's not planning on making any sales, so they're not ordering you boxes. And let's say, for example, they decide it's a crunch. Oh my God, I need a 24 by 24 inch box. I know I'm not going to get them for a week. I got to ship this out like within the next 3 days. What you can do is go to Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot, and they do sell shipping boxes. They're usually like 24 by 24 by 12. And if you get what's called a commercial box sizer, you can actually score that box to give you a 6-inch lid. You'll cut quite a bit of it off, and then you'll just create the flaps that you need to get that down to a 6-inch box, and it's like 98 cents. So it's actually a really good deal. But it's a lot of work to cut the box down, but in a pinch, that's the way that you can deal with that. Okay, for shipment?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just gonna set this, I'm gonna set it down here. So I always start with the box dimensions down. Now people will say, this box dimension is based on the inside dimensions of the box, not the outside dimensions of the box. I have a tendency of arguing that one a little bit, because when you measure the finished box, if you get it packed correctly and taped correctly, it might only be off by 1/4 of an inch. So you can sometimes pull the box in to get it your 22 by 22 by 6. So we'll start with the bottom, which is, I'm sorry.
It's on my side.
I know. I'm trying to do this though. I'm gonna fold those in. And I pack it so the dimension side is on the outside of the box, just in case anyone wants to argue. And let me fold these out. Because I usually do it on the floor. It's just much easier for me to do it this way. So you really want to push your box in and get rid of the gap. You don't want to leave it like so and have a gap. Bring those edges closer together. Why? If you don't, you just created a 1/4 inch more to your box. So bring those in, and then you're going to bring that all the way through one complete time. I always tape the bottoms of my boxes 3 times. So I usually go just a hair over center, more to the left, but still in the center. And then this one is going to be more to the right, but still over center. So the center of the box has now been taped to allow for rough handling. I will also tape the sides. Why? Waterproofing. Anywhere we can help prevent moisture from getting into the box, and I realize it is cardboard, but it's always good to be on the safe side. Steve's better at doing this in one shot. So we tape the sides, and then I'm going to flip this one around.
And she's just showing you for an example.
Yeah. Let me do this one really quick. So I usually do them on the floor. This way it also helps reinforce the box sides. And I'm gonna flip this down so you guys can see. Okay, let me move this out of the way so that I can push the lid over the edge. To give you guys, will that work?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so again, tape the inside of the box. Helps keep the flaps down. Again, reinforces the box. So we're all set. Before we put anything in the box, if this is summertime and there's no possibility of rain, all I'll pack it with is tissue paper. So I'm going to show you how we would do that. As we're now starting, it's October, you're probably going to start to get some rain now on the East Coast, central US. So I'm going to show you how we would prep for waterproofing that. So for now, I get my tissue paper at Costco right now because Costco sells for $7.99. I want to say a huge package of tissue paper. Buy it now because it won't be there any other time right now. So you use it just for packing. So I do, you need a total of 4. And that just went all the way to the floor. So I position it in the box so the tissue paper is just barely hitting bottom. I think you guys can see that.
Size of this box is 22 by 22 by 6.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it, because normally I'm on the other side of the counter. Or you can spin it around. Can you grab that one? Okay. So, then in the box would be your wreath letter, your packing slip, our thank you card, and generally I'll write on the receipt, thank you so much for your order, sign my name, and then at the bottom, because it also has an email in here that basically says if you're unhappy for any reason, please contact me, because I don't want a customer to be unhappy with anything they purchase. So there's a way for them to reach out and resolve their issues. So I always put the wreath letter on top, because I figure most people just think it's the receipt and throw it away. So this goes in the bottom of the box with the card. So we'll pretend we put the card in. So I write out my card with my business cards in it. And then you're going to put in your commercial ties. So you're going to take 2. And the nice thing about these is they go either way. They go horizontal or vertical. So here's horizontal, and then in the same one, you can go vertical. So I just feed those in. And then you're going to peel the sticker off the bottom. This is why I say these work better than Amazon. And what I do is I kind of, pipe cleaner's like in the middle, so I let the pipe cleaner sit in the corner, touching the corner, and then I just push it to the bottom. Same thing, pipe cleaner to the corner, touching the bottom. So I'm going to flip it up so you guys can see. If my tissue paper falls out, let's just pretend it's in there. Okay, so now we're ready to attach the wreath. So is the outer ring of the wreath. And I always start with the bows in the corner. So, bow in the corner, putting it in my box. I just reach around, grab my pipe cleaner, and as I'm pushing it back down into the box, it allows me to just twist tie my, twist tie the wreath to the bottom of the box. And then we would do it on the same side. And then technically, I will fluff everything. Actually, before it even goes in the box, I do a once over. Make sure everything that has been glued on is secure. That your bows are all, pristine, they're all pulled out correctly. And this is why mounting it to the bottom of the box is key, because it won't shift in here, even if they flip it upside down and let it sit that way. Or stand it straight up. it's not going to touch the sides of the box at all.
Right. So she'll do both of those. She'll tie both of them down.
Yeah, I just can't reach that side. So, and then you're going to just put your, I just flip these down so the tissue paper's on top of the wreath. Flip it over. We're going to tape it 3 more times on the top, across the side, across the bottom, so that everything is secure. So this is where I'm saying you want to make sure you close the gaps in the lids of your box. And if you have extra here, before you tape it, just push them in. You just have to square up the box. And you want to make sure that everything is flush. Your tops meet the sides meet the bottom. You don't have like a little wonky kind of box going on. Do you have a question?
No, they're just asking. They're like, "What's the price of those commercial tabs?" I said it's $15 for 100.
Yeah, it's like
roughly
$15.31. It's some crazy price. Okay, but now because we're rolling into the winter months, let's push that out. Push that down. I'm going to go ahead and undo this. So I just do like 2 twists on that, so it's really easy for them to get it out of the box.
And those commercial ties, they stick really well to the cardboard.
Even if the customer really wanted to, they could pull up on it. These are just going to unstick off of the bottom of the box. So, Home Depot, again, plug for Home Depot. They sell what's called these HDX. There's 50 bags in here. They are the outdoor yard bags, and they're clear. So, I'm trying to think of what the price on these is. I want to say they're like roughly about 20 bucks, maybe for 50 bags, but they're heavy duty. So, and they're more than generous on how big they will hold. So, because we know our wreath is only going to take roughly, for me, if it's from like California to like New Mexico and then up, it generally takes about 3 days for FedEx to deliver it. If it's same state or sometimes one of the states that touch California, it might take 2 or 3 days as well. So I'm not worried about compressing everything. I'm more worried about protecting the product that the customer bought. So in this case, you're going to need to open up your trash bag. And if they're not going to save the box to store it in, save the plastic bag, because then what they can do, like a garment bag, like wedding dresses or business suits, you can pop a hole in the end, feed a hanger through the bottom, and then drape this over the top, and then the wreath is fine for storing out the gear for the rest of the year. So we have the zip ties at the bottom, which means we're going to have to perforate our wreath a bit so that we can still secure it. When would I not? If I had a design like, I'm trying to think, what design would I not? Like the Flexi Tube wreaths, I probably wouldn't be so concerned with securing that down because there's really nothing that's going to get damaged. So you can just put it in a plastic bag. If you want, you can put additional padding around the wreath just to prevent movement. But in this case, let's go and try this. I think it should sit in here. Let's just see. I'm going to bring this up and around to the top. And it's got a drawstring on here, so you can drawstring it closed. You can, if you want, put a fancy little piece of twine on it with your business card and said your wreath was packed in plastic just due to potential inclement weather. I wanted to be assured that your wreath arrived in the same manner that it left the house. So popping holes then in the bottom of the bag. Super simple because they're pipe cleaners.
And Judy, no, she doesn't put any packing bubbles on the top or anything to make sure that it doesn't get smushed. Because I mean, it's a bow mainly on the top, but if you package the box right, it shouldn't have any issues.
I'm just popping my hole. The only time I'll add additional packing to the wreath is if I'm doing like a beach wreath. Yeah, and I've got some seashells or starfish that I really want to make sure don't get damaged in transit. Then I'll do that. But as you can see, again, pop it the other side. It's secured down to the bottom of the box. I'm trying to find out where here's the drawstring. And right here. So we can just drawstring that. Go ahead and tie it. Add your business card. We're still going to leave the tissue paper on it because it still makes a nice, you know, it's always about what does it look like when you get it. So you're going to go ahead and just tissue paper, close both boxes up, go ahead and tape it, tape the sides as well. You've done all that you can physically do to protect this wreath from the time that for me, from the time I drive it over to FedEx and leave it at their shipping station till the time it gets to the customer. That's all we as wreath makers can do. I can't guarantee that it will be delivered on the estimated delivery date. It's an estimate. Sometimes things happen like COVID or weather or whatever. So you always want to tell the customer your estimated scheduled delivery date is Friday, October 3rd or whatever. And then for me, because I print my labels at home from FedEx, once I've taped this closed, I just tape my FedEx label down flat. It has the barcode on it, which is how it's going to be scanned through all the locations. My recommendation is don't put packing tape over the barcode, just in case it can't be read. I tape everything except for the barcode. And remember, we've got an additional packing slip inside should that label come off. But I mean, I really tape my label to the box. So it's gonna have to be like somebody willfully pulled that label off the box, and you're gonna know based on what the condition of the box is that somebody had to remove the label. So that's all we can do as far as wreath shippers to guarantee that our wreaths look, you know, what they are. Always caution your customer, don't store it like this, because mesh is a funny thing. It has a memory. So if it stays like this, the ribbons will be fine, but it'll be really difficult to get the mesh to not form to the box. So I know some people make their wreaths and then they put it in a box and then they store it in the garage till it sells. The downside in that is that it could take the shape of the box, and that's going to be difficult to get it reformatted. So you could leave it out in the sun. You could take a blow dryer to it and try to get the shape of the mesh back, but I wouldn't recommend storing it like this. Store it outside of the plastic bag if you're gonna hang it. Other than that, take it out of the plastic bag, use the box, and then just go ahead and store it this way.
Yep, Christina Adele said, hey, it's been so long.
Hi. So,
She said the best rate is less than 22 pounds and no bigger than 24 by 24 by 6.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. The minute, and they call it, what is it called? There was a term for it. It's not elevated. There's a term for the minute you go over 6 inches, there's like a specific rate in which you can get your shipping prices fairly reasonable. And then the minute that you push it over, say, 6 inches on a 24 by 24 6, it
like
triples
a compounded rate or something like that. Yeah.
It's just, I forget what it's called. The life of me, I can't remember right now. But you want to keep it out of that rate. And then, of course, if somebody wants you to, and I've had this request done before, to do 2 48-inch wreaths and ship it within the state of California, it was like over $180 to ship one wreath in one box. I mean, it would have been cheaper for me to put gas in my car and drive it to California than to ship it in that 48-inch box just because it's at an inflated or elevated rate for moving them up. So it's not cost conducive to do that. I don't know how people do it for shipping furniture and still make it affordable. Maybe they build that into the price of the actual furniture item so that you're not seeing the cost of your shipping, but everybody pays shipping. Even the people who say, I'm shipping you this wreath and it's free, they're building it in somewhere. They have to pay for it. Nobody has free shipping. It's built in somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, what other questions do you guys have?
That's it.
Okay. So this video will be available for replay the minute that we finish.
And if you want to expand upon the Etsy rates again, or Etsy costs, or
What?
somebody asked again if Etsy was the best place to.
Etsy allows you to ship through USPS, which was for us, for me anyway, it's never going to be an option unless it's under 12 inches. It'll always be UPS or FedEx now, and it's just going to be a matter of knowing how many items you sell. And if you're a fairly new wreath maker, you know, look at a trend for, say, like the last month, the last 2 months, the last quarter, the last year, how many have you sold? Maybe double that going in and have that as your negotiated rate. But a lot of times what I do is I tell them what Etsy is going to charge me to ship this item, so can you beat their price? So I'll basically just kind of create an order and know what the ballpark is going to be. So you just have to know where are you shipping most of your products. I think people that are in the central, like Texas and stuff like that, you're probably going to have a better overall shipping rate because you're centrally located, right? You're only so far to California, and you're only so far to Florida, and only so far up to the other end of the state. Now, international shipping, whole nother thing. I would probably refrain from right now shipping international, because that's just a whole nother nightmare. But it's if people want to pay, you know, I have no problem shipping to Europe or wherever if they want to pay, but it's hard. It's expensive.
David said thank you for all the good info. Jesus said thank you, guys are great, always good tips.
Perfect.
Teresa, an awesome tutorial, thank you so very much. David said thank you. Yep.
Okay. Don't forget, tomorrow at 5, we're doing the country Christmas candle wreath with the battery operated illuminated flickering candle thing. So we're going to be teaching you how to do that tomorrow at 5 Pacific. That's 7 Central and 8 Eastern time. So don't forget, it'll be right here tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this video has been informative for you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.